And we are officially live here this Thursday evening. Hello, all my BC WrestlePod nerds out there, and welcome to a very special debut here on the BC WrestlePod Network Conglomeration Syndicate thingamabob we do pretty much every week at this point. The reason that I say this is a special debut because this is the official debut of our new review team here at BC WrestlePod, the Velvet Riot, which is, going to be covering Eve, Battle Riot or Eve Girls of Wrestling in the UK. And tonight we are here to break down possibly one of the greatest shows that I have ever watched this past weekend in Eve's Wrestle Queendom VIII. My name is Mikey. I am El Jefe, the leader of BC WrestlePod. I run the ones and twos and everything else behind the scenes, but I can never do this alone. I am surrounded by an eclectic group of individuals. And tonight I am here with, well, even though I'm doing all the talking, this is my friend Benny's idea. He's the one that presented this to me. And so this is his baby. I just have the means to execute the dream. So Benny, I'm so excited you are here. And I cannot wait to talk about this show.
Hey, let's go. Right? Let's talk about some pro wrestling Riot Grrrls. What a show, man. What a show.
I am so excited to get into this and talk all the matches and everything that we got. But before we do, though, we got to get the intro bit out of the way. But I'm going to keep it really short so that way we can just gush all over the show because of how amazing it was. But YouTube, Twitch, and Kick is where you can see us go live most of the days of the week. YouTube also houses the edited reviews that I edit and put up the following day at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. So today we just had our NXT Vengeance Day, video go up. So that is up there to watch. Let me tell you, it was a nightmare and a half to edit it because it didn't work the first time. So I had to crunch time while I was at work trying to fix this while I'm also trying to do my job. So it's been a time and a half. But if you're looking for something different, you can follow us on your favorite social media site at BC WrestlePod, where you can find the report cards, previews of the television episodes every single week, and the pay-per-views, predictions for our pay-per-view, as well as clips of all the episodes, which is a lot of fun to watch because the algorithm likes some of us a lot more than others. I'll just say it like that. And then last but certainly not least, we have merchandise available at our shop, BC WrestlePod shop, thefourthwall.com. Links to all of that in the streaming services. We pay for a lot of memberships and pay-per-views. So if you feel inclined to do so, every 10 minutes or so, we have a little coffee bot in the Twitch and YouTube chat that will be there. So if you feel inclined to donate to the cause, you can, but if not, no pressure because we love you. And asking our friends for money is a little bit weird. You being here is enough for us. But if you're in the position to do so, you can support us in all those ways. All right, now that I'm done with the intro, let's get into why I'm really here tonight and why I've really been excited to talk about all freaking week long. I have been waiting for this show ever since we decided that, hey, we're going to cover this like months ago. And now it is finally realized. But hot damn,
Leave it to the Brits to put on a great variety show.
We got a lot to talk about too, not just from wrestling. We got a whole burlesque performance too, which was a lot of fun. Now, spoiler alert, I did not grab those images because we would get demonetized and we can't do that. But let me tell you, I will never look at eggs the same way again. Oh man, that was such a little fun performance in the middle of the show. But yeah, Wrestle Queendom VIII, man. Oh my goodness. I honestly, right now, this is probably my favorite show of the year, and it's barely the beginning of March and the beginning of the year still. So holy hell, they delivered everything.
Yeah, I got into Eve like late last year, and I don't know, instantly fell in love with it. And I've been looking forward to this for a while, clearly, because if you follow me on socials, on Blue Sky, whatever, I've been talking for a while. And it lived up to the hype and then some.
Let's just get into it because we have so much to talk about, and my goodness, this was a fun card. So let's just get into it. First, I do want to point out to our lovely, MC of the whole entire evening, our ring announcer, and I was just like, yes, love her. I'm just like, I mean, Eve and Progress share very similar. We have quite a character to be the MC and announcing all these matches too. I was just like, you gotta love it, and commentary was a lot of fun to listen to as well. Now, I will say, this is the only downer I'm going to talk about. When I was watching it live, we had some audio issues for the first 45 minutes of the show, but I would like to thank Eve for re-uploading with the complete audio for everything when I was doing a quick watch earlier today, and y'all did the great thing. Also, Progress, love you. Take some notes from Eve. This is how you get better commentary audio. Gosh. Anyways, but that's besides the point. But that's my
Yeah,
only
it's hard for like places like that, especially if everybody's on the Wi-Fi that's in the building.
seriously. I'm like, get it together and stop getting on the Wi-Fi. No, I was kidding.
Right.
Jeez.
But
Boy.
I'm the type of person that like I watch a lot of Japanese wrestling anyways, so like I usually watch the matches on mute anyways, because if you can't watch a wrestling match on mute and tell which one's the good guy and which one's the bad guy, you're watching it wrong.
And then if you want to up the ante, you should watch a CMLL show because it is nothing but Spanish commentary. And I'm just like, good luck for those of you that don't speak Spanish, which is a lot of fun. But yeah, I that's the only nitpick and gripe that I had because everything else was amazing. So let's just get into it, shall we? Because
Hmm.
we kick things off with a sudden death 16 match. So this is their version of a battle royal. Now, of course, this is not the full field, but this is the people that were announced for it so far. So in this sudden death 16 match, I'm just gonna go through everyone that we had. So this
Yep.
was a match that, of course, had a bunch of bodies in this one and get everyone on the card as quickly as you can. But this sudden death 16 match had you, Princess Gloria, the native beast Nyla Rose. Thank God she's back on my screen. I have missed her dearly. And shout out to her ring gear because it was
One of the biggest pops of the night as well.
seriously, Tony. What are we doing? Why is she on my television? I get but like it's crazy out here. But yeah,
If there's anybody who understands it, it's us.
yes.
Why she's not on television?
I mean, Benny, it's like yes.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, let's be so for real. Like the words of Childish Gambino. This is America. Overthrow the patriarchy. Anyways, so Nyla Rose, Nightshade, Molly Spartan, my goddess Miyu Yamashita, Lucy Sky, Lil Mars, Jamie Hayter, Emerson Jane, Dash Chisako, Charlie Morgan, Anita Vaughn, Aluna, Abby Cartwright, and of course, Miss Alexis Falcon herself. God, this match was bodies everywhere, and I loved it.
Yeah, one thing I really liked is that like I had gotten the rules wrong at first, but it was very simple to pick up because it was somewhere in between like the gauntlet match and a Royal Rumble where like, oh yes, over the top rope still counts, but pinfalls and submissions also count. So it could end at any time.
So
Which
yeah,
is pretty nice.
it really is. And we had some really fun moments. Of course, you had Nyla Rose destroying everyone. We had tables at one point too. I was just like, oh, we just bringing out everything and everyone. Yes, this was great. And of course, if y'all haven't seen the Eve show that happened on the Friday, 2 days before Wrestle Queendom 2, it was really fun to watch Miyu and Jamie also just destroy everyone too after they destroyed each other on Friday evening. That match is also on my match of the year contender list. And I have so many after this weekend. It's going to be really hard to choose.
Yeah, this show in particular definitely has at least 3 for me.
Same. This was such a fun opener. Of course, it would end up being Miss Alexis Falcon to win the sudden death 16 match. And I'm just like, Alexis Falcon, my girl, we win in an Eve, and we are the Progress Women's Champion, and just being an absolute turd over in Progress because now she's a heel. So I'm like, oh man, this is all is right in the world. Alexis Falcon is great, but this was a really fun match to open up the show and to get the crowd into everything that was to come after. Because ooh almighty, did it just keep going and going to the peak, and we did not have a moment to breathe. Eve was on our necks the whole entire night, and I was here for being a masochist.
Yeah, like I like the fact that Miyu and Jamie had that banger on Friday, and then they both took each other out in this match. So whatever they have brewing there, can we please have more?
Seriously, but this was such a fun match for sure.
No, you're absolutely right. And got Alexis Falcon in Eve. She is aligned with Riho, so that her winning will come into play later on, probably at the next Eve show.
Indeed, it will. So, which is coming up in April, if I remember. And guess what, guys? We're gonna be here probably reviewing all the Eve shows this year. So deal with it. I'm just kidding, but I'm here for it. As if I already don't watch enough wrestling as it is.
This one is nice because it's like once a month.
Seriously, I would like to thank Eve, just like Mystery Wrestling and Progress, where yes, it's a lot of wrestling that I watch, but at least it's once a month. and I don't have to contend with it every week or every other week. So thank the
Hmm.
Lord. But yeah, Alexis Falcon wins the sudden death 16 match. Really fun opener. Like I said, once this match was over for the rest of the night, Eve had their heels on my throat, and it would not let me breathe because woo! Everything coming up for the rest of the night was just epic.
Yeah.
And well, I mean, it kind of just started off with this one. This women's wrestling is carrying 2026. I've said that multiple times this week, and I will continue to say it. Damn it. But we get an international singles match here. Of course, representing the home turf is Miss Sapphire Reed, who has also dabbled in Progress this year. So it's been fun to watch her. And she takes on one of my personal faves of Stardom currently right now, and Miss Azumi. This was so much fun. I was
Yeah.
like, this is a quick 10-minute bout, but damn, I was just like, they're just like, all right, we're fighting each other. Let's go and just throw down. And I was like, baller, let's go. Easily, no notes. I had this was fun.
Yeah. Zumi is probably like one of the best in Stardom, right?
Mm.
And she like moves so fast that like sometimes it's hard to comprehend. You know? And like Sapphire Reed like kept right up with her. 'Cause she's a spitfire, you know. And the end of this match looked like an actual fight. Like
Oh,
I
100.
I love that. Like it was fluid, but also looked like a fight. 10 minutes in and out. Great stuff.
And honestly, and again, because every wrestling promotion is different, so I don't want to compare. But the reason I think I also really, really enjoyed this too, because as somebody who watches CMLL, because this was pretty much a 10-minute match, it's like in and out, and everything was smooth and great. It did feel like I was watching a match, so a lightning match as it translates to English, where they have a 10-minute time limit, and it's throw everything, the kitchen sink, the fridge, your mother, and everything you possibly can to try to get a pinfall or submission in 10 minutes. And the reason I bring this up is because like you said, Benny, that to me works very well as kind of the speedster of Stardom, or at least the few girls that rely on speed in their in-ring ability. But yeah, Sapphire Reed also is a Spitfire too. So it felt like a really good lightning Chicago match in CMLL where there's just like, all right, we got 10 minutes. Let's just do everything, and everything they did. Of
Yeah,
course,
and like
yeah,
Sapphire Reed seems like one of the there's a lot of really great British talent right now, and Sapphire Reed and her tag team partner Anita Vaughn really do start. They're starting to feel like the next up, the next to go somewhere.
100%. But yeah, this was a fun one. Azumi would beat, and take Sapphire Reed and end up winning. And then we moved into this one. Now, I couldn't find the official match graphic, so I am a little upset. But when we talk about tag team wrestling, to quote one of my friends, and I could say this because I'm part of the community, and all these women, I was just like, lesbians. Let's be honest. Let's go. Oh
Hey,
my god, these
if
bitches beat each other up, and I was just like, take me with you.
hey, we in the gay community stand on lesbian shoulders, so let's do it, man. Like
What's up?
this match ruled so hard. Like the French art, right? Like they're a
Oh
tag
my
team
gosh.
that just had just been thrown together last month at the Multiverse Rumble, and they had a killer match with. If I definitely recommend that match if you haven't seen it. Like I was like, who's that? I need to find more.
Seriously. So I do want to set this up because this was an Eve Tag Team, Championship #1 contenders 4-way match. And of course, like you said, we had French Art, which is Corey Zero and JGU, versus Danny Moe and Melissa Fierce, versus Alice Inc. and Chantal Jordan. And of course, the team of Net Sky, which is Sky Smithson and Violet, or Night Sky, sorry, Sky Smithson and Violet Knight. And again, I really
Yeah,
love everybody had good chemistry with each other.
it really was. Like everybody had a great chemistry. I think like it was like Mo Fierce, which
Mhm.
is Melissa Fierce, and like Alice Inc. is the girl that lost her belt to Mercedes last year, and I was really excited to see her on the card because I haven't seen her before. She was awesome. The mixture of styles in this match, fantastic.
Again, everyone has such good chemistry with each other, and they played off each other very well, and everyone was able to get their stuff in. And this was just really fun to watch good tag team wrestling. So I like to channel every time we talk about tag team wrestling. I like to channel one of our other hosts, Andrew, who does well. I mean, you've met Andrew before, so you know. But yeah, tag team wrestling is his thing, man. And I was just like, this was just such a good fatal four-way with 4 different tag teams. And yeah, this was such a fun one. Of course, we would see Night Sky earn that number 1 contendership. Well, I say earned, but they definitely took advantage of the chaos, which was very nice to watch. But man, I was just like, this was so much fun. I had a blast with this one.
Yeah, Night Sky, I'm looking forward to their run. Like they just got together like I think on Friday or something. Like, and they look great together. They got the matching gear, and Sky Smithson gets incredible heat, and I'm so here for
Oh,
it.
that crowd was booing her to the highest of heavens, and I was here for it. Oh man. Also, I gotta say, shout out to this crowd. This is great. I do have to acknowledge our little shit stirrer in the chat. Of course, our good friend Nick. Love you, Nick. It's here. And just to bring this comment up from a couple minutes ago, apparently I am his wrestle queen, and he acknowledges me, and I appreciate that. Now give me my crown. No, but as I said, Night Sky is the new number 1 contenders for the Eve Tag Team Championships. And we move on, but Benito, Mr. Beneford.
I was very prepared for what we were in for, and it exceeded all of those expectations and then some.
I was laughing my ass off the whole entire time, Benny. Holy hell. I would like before even Harley came out, like the whole entire thing, Amira like coming to the ring, be like, we gotta do this again. The whole performance, her manager coming out, I was just like, this is the gayest shit on the planet. I am so proud of how far we've come.
Cassius is pretty great.
He's my new favorite. I love Cassius. I was just like, yes, give me more manager with sparkles and basically like not even I wouldn't even call it a bustier or a bra. It's like a chest harness at this point.
Yeah. Hey, they made it.
So
I
good.
guess the ring boys, the people, the ring crew.
We saw backup dancers. We saw Amira like look like eat out a spider, which was a wild sight to see. She slurped it in the song. I was just like, yeah, I could not. And then of course, she's lip syncing the whole entire time too, and it's so funny. I gotta bring this up because Nick, you're ridiculous, and I love you for it. Amira looks like someone from the American Pie movies, and that's exactly what I was getting to. That energy is exactly what I felt. I was like, am I watching an American Pie movie, but in wrestling form? Because I can get behind that. But oh my god, I was not prepared for Amira. And then Harley comes out, and of course, she's actually singing. She tries to get Amira involved, and then Amira gets jealous. Then a whole fight breaks out for 3 minutes. And then we had a closing number for like 10 whole minutes. I was like, oh my gosh.
You had a 3-act structure. Bravo. Bravo. Bravo.
This was the best 25 minutes that I've ever spent in my entire wrestling life, and I regret nothing.
Yeah, to be honest with you, this is what I've always wanted out of wrestling. Like, just give me a little, give me a little song and dance, something that, and then like they had like, what was it, Sweet Caroline, so like there's a little call and response bit, and then like the match is just like 3 minutes long. There's a bunch of ha-ha. There's puppets involved. Like
we had an Amira puppet. We had a Harley puppet coming out. Like, and not to mention too, like after the match is over, because the match is like 3 minutes. Harley ends up winning, but we get the duet. The ring boys are in the ring dancing once again. Amira plays the nose flute, which was amazing. I can say this is
pyro going off in the background, like
whole entire segment and match and ending segment. This was fucking chaotic, and I was living every single minute of it.
Oh yeah, man, it exceed those expectations by a mile.
When we do our end of the year awards, I am going to put a category as in the most entertaining match of the year, and I'm sorry, nothing is going to come close to this. This is my sports entertainment match of the year.
And there's a whole company for that.
Lord, Harley and Amira, y'all, girls, I love you. Thank you for providing me with such a great 20 minutes of my life. And honestly, I don't know if it'll ever happen, but I need y'all as a tag team, even if it's for a little bit, because y'all are fun together. Jesus. Oh, man. And honestly, this was such a good way, because then from here on out, the rest of the show got serious. And I was just like, okay, we had our fun moment. Now let's continue to stomp on my neck, because this is where all the matches that are on my short list of match of the year started. So this is for the TBS championship, as we come to find out as we got closer to the show. But Willow Nightingale, of course, AEW's Willow Nightingale, putting her title on the line against one of my personal faves in the UK scene in the last couple of years, well, ever since NXT UK, to be completely honest. And Miss Nina Samuels, and listen, I will never say no to the Nina Samuels show. Love it.
Yeah, honestly, I missed NXT UK.
Hmm.
So like when I first saw her here a couple months ago, and when I first saw her, I was like, "Who is this? And why isn't she on TV?" Like she's got the meanest mug in the game. She's a great in-ring storyteller, and like probably one of the best heels I've seen on the independents anywhere. And she has a little tiny hat. What else do you want?
Listen, tiny hats will always get me, and I was just like, Nina, love you.
Speaking of which, it was like Nina had come out with her assistant Abby, who if Nina didn't win, Abby was fired, right?
Yes.
And Abby, who was in the Sudden Death 16 earlier, had gotten beat up, so she's like trying to fend off paparazzi during Nina's entrance. And one of the commentators says Nina's sympathy for Abby is as small as her hat. Man,
This was fantastic.
what was your favorite part?
Oh my goodness. Now, of course, for me personally, like I'm never going to not pop for a Willow Nightingale pounce. Now, the one thing I will say, I think what I really enjoyed about this match too, and this is going to kind of sound weird, so follow my train of thought. I think just the entirety of Nina Samuel's offense this whole entire match is probably one of my favorite things of this match. The reason I say this is because last year we were blessed with Nina Samuels being in progress for pretty much the good chunk of the first half of last year. We had her all when she lost her loser leaves progress match against Kanji. So that's going to be fun. But it's now I had issues with the character that she was presenting because I was like, I need more definition, but her in ring was always fantastic. And to me, I feel like this is the culmination of the last year. And I was just like, Nina, girl, I love you. You are so good and never change.
Was Abby the piece that?
You know what? If we got an Abby in progress with Nina, I feel
Oh,
like
that's
I would
right.
have, yeah. Because I mean, again, I was introduced to Nina in NXT UK, and we got her because she was the Progress Women's Champion since unboxing not this past year in 2025, but in 2024. So it was really,
Oh,
really fun. Yeah. So she cheesed her way against the win against Rio back in unboxing until at December 2024. She was on the championship run for a good chunk of the first half of 2025. And then she ended up losing the title back to Rio during the summer, which was still a lot of fun. And then her and Kanji were fighting out. And then again, that led to the loser leaves progress match in which she lost, but hot damn, it was a good match. But yeah, Nina and Willow threw down, and I had such a blast. And I'm like, I know you took a red eye to get back to the States just in time for this week of what we saw. Willow is fighting girls around the world in like less than a week because here she's fighting Nina Samuels. Then she fights CMLL's Persephone on Wednesday last night on Dynamite. And I'm just like, and then she's going to fight, Australian Lena Cross on the 0 hour. And then she's got to fight Lena again, of course, with our Greek goddess, Megan. She's just fighting girls around the world. And honestly, there's no other girl I am more happy for to do that than with you right now because y'all are killing it. But this match ruled. Willow does retain the TBS championship, but honestly, this was such a good match. Oh my goodness.
oh man, I'd be remiss not to mention the 450 splash by Nina, which oh my god, I've never
Yes.
seen a more flush one ever. Like because that's not really her bag. You know what I mean? She's not like a high
Mm-hmm.
flyer or anything. So to see her pull that out, I was like, what? And I saw this advertised as the meanest versus the nicest. And that pretty much sums it up, you know?
This was so good. And I was just like, and I'm putting this down. So yeah, again, Willow ends up retaining the TBS championship, but this was a hell of a match. And I was very impressed and loved every single minute of it. Okay. Match of the freaking night, man. Holy crap. This was tied for my match of the night. But up to this point, this was my match of the night. We're going to talk about what also tied for my match of the night, but this is at the top of my match of the year contenders. And I'm like, I still have a whole entire year to go. What am I going to do with my life? But let me set this up. The New Japan Strong Women's Championship from Stardom. We have our NJPW Strong Women's Champ taking on, of course, everybody's lovely person, one half of the Brawling Birds in AEW, and one of my personal favorites in general of Miss Alexa. You gotta love Alex Winter, but oh my god, I cried tears of joy. I'm like, oh my god, this match is so good.
Seriously, and like they started slow, and like they were just building and like a crescendo with Alex Windsor hitting her finish and like Fury waking up after the pinfall, which I love, a nice little touch, and Fury really had put on two banger of a matches like within a week of each other that I saw anyways. I hear she's amazing other places as well as I can imagine, but there's only so much time, and too much wrestling. So this is definitely like the purest match so far, and I don't doubt you for this being the match of your match of the night.
Oh my gosh. I don't have enough words to articulate how much I really enjoyed this match. But also, I would be remiss to kind of not mention this. We got a title change here because Alex is the new New Japan Strong Women's Champion. And I'm just like, oh, Miss Alex Windsor. I'm so excited. I was just like, now she's going to fight girls in New Japan and just around the world in general. And I am here for that agenda.
Yeah, definitely. Because especially looking at that list of champions that New Japan Strong has had. It's like, oh man, this is the best of the best.
I'm so excited for Alex Windsor to kind of carry that legacy of this NJPW Strong Women's Championship. But yeah, I'm like, this was so good. Oh my goodness. And again, at this point, I was like, oh my gosh, my match of the night. I had such a fun one. And I think it's just because of the people we had in this match. So the picture alone of our champs just tells me everything I need to know. So this was for the Eve Tag Team Championships. This is Lolly. So Holly Barlow and Lana Austin. Of course, Lana and Holly are also in progress. So I get to see their freaking chaos in progress every month. So they're hilarious. And I love it. And they took on the team of Charlie Evans and Jessica Troy. This was such a fun tag team match. I'm just going to jump ahead. My favorite spot is when we had the team were holding that submission hold, and then they begin to slap and punch each other while they were holding the submission holds. And I was just like, this is why I love wrestling.
Yeah, this whole match was just super hard hitting and like just what I love about tag team wrestling, because I too like tag team wrestling is like my favorite form of wrestling, if I'm being honest. And I understand that Charlie Evans and Jessica Troy are longtime rivals, and they had a cage match in Australia, and then come and fly here, which is a whole nother story, which you'd have to find out from one of the Eve shows. Anyways, what I mean is that I don't want to tell the whole story because it's not my story to tell. But this match was just so great. And this is the first time that any of these people have met. That's just magic and chemistry, man.
This was just a fun match, and of course, our lovable, the most one-sided relationship ever, because Lana is so over it with Holly. Holly is very like, oh my gosh, we're besties with Lana. But Lally does end up retaining the championships. And this was a fun match to put in there after having, Alex and Shudi, Willow and Nina. I was just like, this is a perfect one. This was a perfect match to put here, because from here on out, the last two matches had different things to them. So let's get into the semi-main events and I want to tell this quick personal story, because since the inception of BC WrestlePod, when it was just me and JVL on Discord recording our thoughts and feelings about wrestling in general during the pandemic, and then to see where it has gone for this one, JVL and I have a special connection with Charlie here, because she is one of the women's wrestlers that gave us our kudos. And we are just big fans of her in general, from her independent work to her NXT work in the Black and Gold era. And so when she was released from the company, we were all pissed off and mad, because once again, the Fed wastes a really good talent. And then she disappeared for a year. She didn't do any wrestling. She didn't, not really anything too crazy in the ring. And so we were worried about her and her being. And then when we started to get the teasers that she was going to return to the ring at Wrestle Queendom VIII, me and JVL got hell of excited. Now, I was a little worried to see where Charlie would go, especially after being gone from the ring for about a year. I was like, is there going to be ring rust? Is it going to prevent her to do what she needs to do here in her first match back after a year? I feel like Charlie had something to prove to the wrestling world after being gone for so long. And while not everything hit perfectly, because I did find some parts of this match a little bit not bad, but I was just like, ooh, that was a little rough, but I still enjoyed it. Statlander was a perfect opponent for Charlie's first match back in a year, and she definitely blew all my expectations out of the water. I'm like, damn, girl, you really you've been gone for a year, but for the majority of this match, it didn't seem like it. You didn't miss a beat. And for me personally, well, I didn't think Charlie was going to win this match against Chris because Chris is still a hot commodity being the Eve International Champion. I think this was a personal win for me. And this ended up at the top of my list of my favorite matches from the show only because of a personal reason. And that's kind of silly. But from the in-ring work of this match to the journey and to more of this being a return to form and for Charlie to prove to the world that she still got it. I'm just like, listen, Tony, if you got that money, I'm just saying. I was like, Charlie can go and do things here in Eve. I want to see more her on the independents. Throw her in Progress would be kind of fun. But if she wants to do a couple of shows in AEW too, I would not be against it. So this match gets one of these from a personal fan who has loved Charlie and loves Chris. And I thoroughly, really enjoyed this match for a personal reason. And that is my TED Talk. So I'm going to let Benny talk about this match.
That was really nice, and I'm glad you guys had a wrestler like that to bond over. And yeah, I don't know how to top that. But to be honest with you, I didn't even write anything down in my notes which is perfect because of how you just laid it out there. Chris, as you said, Chris was a great first opponent. It's great to see Charlie back.
Yeah, I think this is not only this was special match for, of course, me personally, but this is also a really special match for Charlie. And honestly, I have to her flowers. But again, I have to give the flowers to the Eve crowd too because they welcomed her home so like lovingly and amazingly. And I was just like, the Eve crowd was on point the whole entire night. And I was very proud of them. I was like, y'all are fantastic. I was like, thank you for being an awesome crowd because sometimes I don't want to say that us US fans are spoiled, but I'm like, y'all need to take a lesson from the international crowds because they know how to be amazing crowds. Like y'all, we need to step up our game.
Like as I said, like I was rewatching it today, like and during the Sapphire Reed and Azumi match, like there was no commentary. But you could hear the crowd, right? It's entertaining themselves the whole time. Like they were singing, chanting, they're just having a great time.
So yeah, I need the US crowds to take notes because these international crowds always bring their A game and I am never disappointed when I'm watching. Alrighty, so we've had a crazy night so far. The matches have ranged from me laughing my entire little butt off to me giving standing ovations and clapping and being like, this is amazing. But Benny, holy shit, that is all I wrote in my notes because, oh my God. Okay. So this is for the Eve Championship. Of course, this is the challenger and Miss Session Moth Martina, Mother Martina, as we are mother over in Progress with the Session Moth family. And she is taking on, whether it's in Progress or any of the other British wrestling scenes, probably one of the baddest bitches to do it in the UK. Rio, and I'm just like, this match is gonna be good. And this match was excellent. It was a 5-star classic. I'm pulling a Dave Meltzer. I'm giving it 18 stars. Holy fuck, Benny. Holy shit. They just put it all on the line. Okay, I want to start from the beginning though, because I'm like, Session Moth comes out to and for the little EDM / gay boys that we are, I was just like, we all know, we've heard, listen, we know, right? I was like, oh my God, it is my high school all over again. We had glow sticks. We had, fog machines. But I have to say, the story going into this match, minus the little tidbits that you told me, fucking intro video got me hook, line, and sinker because I was like, it caught me up and I was personally invested after 3 minutes. Like, oh my God, this match fucking ruled, Benny. It ruled.
A little bit of a personal story here. Nothing to the extent of yours, my friend.
Undersell it.
I remember her name popping up years ago, right? Before she had gone to Ring of Honor. Because the British scene was popping like around like 2010, 2012, 2014, something like that. Like everything was just hopping outside of WWE, you know? And then she got signed to Ring of Honor. And there was another person at that time that had gotten signed to Ring of Honor. His name was Joe Hendry. And Session Moth, because I was aware of her because of I watched some like ICW back in the day, the Scottish wrestling, because of like I'm a big Grado fan, but I digress. And for the pandemic happens 6 years ago, gets released from his contract, he goes off and does his thing, right? And this was Martha's moment. And I could not be any happy for her. She's still that great, you know. The world should know how great Session Moth Martina is. And they made a statement on Sunday to remind everybody who the fuck she is. And with that said, Rio is definitely another person to keep your eye on because she is one of the best heels out other than Nita Samuels. Like, but it's a totally different type of heel, you know? Like she's just a badass. And Mikey, jump in here, please.
Again, as somebody who has been watching, again, I was very familiar with Rio because her name has been like Session Mom has been popping up on my social medias for the last couple of years. And it's when I started watching Progress religiously at the beginning of last year in 2025 that I got to see a lot of Rio, and I still get to. And again, I don't mince my words, and I know to some cursing is a bit uncouth and is not proper English language, but I don't care but there is, to me, there is only one women's wrestler that truly is the baddest bitch in the game, and that is Rio. And like you said, she is probably one of my favorite heel-ish or heel wrestlers, depending on where she wrestles in.
Yeah.
Because she just brings that brutality and she brings that instinct, and she does not care who you are. If you got something to say, she ain't gonna mince words. She's like, get in this ring, we gonna fight it out, and then that is how you are going to determine your metal to me. And again, this whole entire thing, like the intro package says, Rio didn't take Session Moth, seriously, because even Session Moth is like, I'm just a party girl. I've been doing this for 10 years and I've never gotten a true championship shot for the Eve championship. And of course, her winning, the tournament that got her this match, even then, Rio's just like, I'm going to show you that you are nowhere near my level. And this match had everything, not to mention the Avengers-esque endgame style, like squad on squad brawl, where even it went from an Avengers Endgame fight to a bar fight because even allies were starting to hit each other, which was really fun to watch. But it made sense because Rio said, you're by yourself in this one. There's no Jamie Hayter to help you out. There's no Maddie to be in your corner. You have to do this on your own. And again, things were looking dark for Session Moth because all of Rio's girl squad was out there, specifically all the women that she beat to get to this match, had a personal vendetta against Martina, which was really fun storytelling. But Martina did not come alone because of her story and her underdog pluckiness. It allowed her to get some friends as well who would be on her side that would end up, evening the odds in the brawl department. And when the dust settled, Benny, she finally got it done. Your winner and new Eve champion, Session Moth Martina. My God, what a match.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk the past couple of years about finish the story. And Martina finished her story on Sunday. And God, to be honest with you, I was crying at the end because, the group of baddies come out and they beat up on Martina. And then one by one, the Avengers assemble. And it's the Eve Resistance era, which, as somebody who just came in to Eve, I didn't really know that much about. But guess what? That's why you go back. And just like any big independent that's been around for the last 10 years or so, all your favorite wrestlers from today more than likely came through those doors, like, which is now the Eve Women's Champion, has been held previously by the likes of Alba Fire, at the time it was Kylie Ray, Jamie Hayter, Nikki Storm, and Piper Niven. Like this belt has a lot of lineage to it of great professional wrestling, great professional wrestlers. And it was just a great cap off to what was in.
This was an incredible night. Session Moth got it done. I also cried watching this for a plethora of reasons because it was an amazing match. I was crying because it feels, I don't want to say I've been vindicated, but it made me reflect on how much I truly love women's wrestling. And this definitely was a prime example of why I love it so much. And what pushed it over the edge for me, too, just me bawling like a whole mess while I was watching this at home, was the fact I was just like, not to get too personal on here, but I gravitate towards women's wrestling because they're always underutilized. Women's wrestlers are always undervalued. They never get the same props as their male counterparts a lot of the time. I definitely think they have taken amazing strides in the last couple of years of where women's wrestling has gone, but I
Yeah.
still feel like we have a lot of work to do here, at least stateside, to get the women to the same level, to get all the women and these major companies to the same level. And what makes me happy is that the international, promotions, like using E for example, they really swung for the fences with this show. And the fact that you have like, because of how good everything was on this show from top to bottom, and how much all the women on this show worked their asses off for and gave it everything they had this whole entire weekend on the internet, you had people who never even heard of Eve before tune in and we're talking about it. And they're already calling this probably the best show of the year so far. One of the best women's shows, one of the best shows, period. Not mentioning that it's an all women show, but the best show, period, across the world. And I also cried too because this whole entire weekend was nothing but women's wrestling. And you know what? All these promotions out here did the damn thing and they continue to do the damn thing. And as someone who is part of multiple marginalized communities because of my color, the color of my skin, my orientation, all a plethora of a whole other things and what I stand for, who my friends are, things like that. This show really made it be like, nah, fuck the system in place. Like these women showed up and showed out and they proved that it doesn't matter. This system might have been built for the men, but we women truly run this shit and I'm here for it.
Indeed.
That is my TED
And
talk.
as the banner in the Raptors said, revolution is not a one time event. It's a long journey. But with the right people, we can get over that hump, you know?
100%, my friend. And I think on that lovely little note, I think that's the perfect way that we can kind of start concluding our post show on Eve Wrestle Queendom 8. Please to God, Eve, please bring this back for Wrestle Queendom 9 next year. I want this to be an annual event because this was amazing to watch. And like I said, the global impact that this show had across the world, so much so, you had a lot of US content creators and US wrestling fans begin to check it out and just sings its praises. I was just like, I'm excited. I think this is Eve came swinging for the fences and they knocked it out of the fucking park. Now, because of this show, I think that Eve is going to have a lot more eyes on it, especially for those of us here in the States for this year. I think if Eve continues to deliver show after show, I'm going to be honest. I mean, because you had the AEW girls popping up over here, I wouldn't be mad if you had even AEW start collaborating more too, because then you open up so many UK women's wrestlers. And I know we're talking about women, but I also have to give flowers to executive producer of the show, Will Ospreay, for also doing the damn thing as well. And, being there, he was the booker for the show, but no way did he take away from the women. And he, like, Will, I miss you in the ring, but honestly, your wrestling mind after watching the show too is really good. And you know what? I appreciate that he uplifted, he didn't take away from them in the show because he could have came out, he could have talked to the crowd, but no, he just had his goofy little headset on. But he hugged Martina after the match, gave her the title, and then was off to the dark corners of the backstage area as to not take away the spotlight from her and the other women in the ring. But damn, Wrestle Queendom was that girl. And I, for one, Benny, am appreciative and thankful that you have introduced me to Eve because now I'm fucking hooked. I'm excited for the shows this year.
Yeah, I think next up is Wrestle She-Mania.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Well, stay tuned to our social medias because we'll be bringing back next month. And like, as if April's already not jam packed with all the fucking shows we do for Hell Week, we're gonna add Eve to the rotation as well in somehow. So, but I'm excited. So yeah, I'm very appreciative of my friend Benny here for introducing me to another promotion. And again, it's like I already watch a lot of wrestling, but this one's worth investing. And if you have not checked out Wrestle Queendom, it is worth spending the $9.99 to become a YouTube subscriber and to get all their perks. And you can watch this 4-hour show, and I swear it is worth the money that you spent to get access to it. Because my God, and the Friday show. Watch that too, because that show was good as well.
Yeah, and the multiverse from last month, like
Seriously.
they had Session Moth Martina as Will Ospreay, and Anita Vaughn was Mr. Bean.
You love it. I love it so much, honestly. It is such a good time. But yeah, that has been Wrestle Queendom 8. Thank you so much for tuning in. Of course, I'd like to shout out our good friend Nick, who is always supporting us, for popping in at the beginning of the show. And yes, I hit the wrong button. The party music started. They heard Session Moth 1. So yeah, that is the sign it's time for us to go, y'all. But we still got one more thing happening this week. Tomorrow evening at 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, the TNA crew will be here to review TNA wrestling, and that is how we're going to end the week. And then, of course, I will be in Los Angeles this Sunday, and I will be reporting live from AEW Revolution, which Tony Anthony Khan, like I said in our text thread last night, God damn it, Anthony. I was like, I knew you were going to add more matches. But yeah, shout out to the women, because Lena and Willow are pulling double duty that night. I was like, Lord have mercy. Also, Roddy is back, and my heart is filled. It's like my angry divorced dad is back, and I'm here for it.
That Penelope Ford injury, I think, sort of threw some stuff in the gears, you know?
We'll talk afterwards, because I have a conspiracy theory of how it should go if we really want to. But yeah, tune in tomorrow night for TNA. And next week, we got a whole crazy show planned ahead. Of course, we got the Revolution review on Tuesday, NXT and CMLL on Wednesday. Next Thursday, we have our Mystery Wrestling 22 show. So that's going to be crazy to see what kind of stuff goes down there. And then again, TNA, as well as, it's all leading to April for Hell Week, as we call it here at BC WrestlePod. During WrestleMania weekend, everyone and their goddamn mother is putting on a wrestling show during that whole entire time. I also am going to send something to Benny very after the show, because it relates to what we were talking about, because of how great Charlie was. Homegirl is already getting bookings, and we're going to talk about that out the air. But from all of us here at BC WrestlePod, to you at home, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. I'll be back tomorrow with my two Wills for TNA. But until then, and until next time, peace.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's gonna happen next time? Well, you're gonna have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.